Welcome back. It's the Kovacs report. We've got Captain America #2 to take a look at today. Yes, our Secret Wars Part 2. Chip Zdarsky and Valerio Schiti after their really good issue 1. We have the follow-up, which I've been looking forward to quite a lot. So I'm going to dive into it page by page. There will, of course, be spoilers. So please read the book first. Don't want it spoilt. Like the video if you like the video. And hit subscribe, please. I'd really appreciate it. It will really help grow the channel. Let's dive straight in. I've been really looking forward to this. Cap hasn't been treated very well of recent times. And that issue 1 really took it up a notch and got me really excited by one of my favourite characters. So we joined the modern day Captain America. Now, remember, before we get into this, Captain America, his history has been rewritten. He's only just been woken up during 9/11, and he's only been awake for a couple of weeks. The Avengers have visited him, or Tony Stark in particular, to ask him to join the Avengers, but he's like, no, my place is in the army. I'm a soldier. I need to, fight for my nation, do the right thing, sir. Uncle Sam. So he's been teamed up with this chappie here, the sort of, like I say, the modern day Captain America, who is starting to develop as a full character in this issue, actually, really starting to understand more of what's going on in his brain. And that's where we join him in the past. Like, they've just liberated Kandar after liberating Kabul. And he's talking to the sort of, I guess, one of the locals who are part of the resistance. And he's saying, listen, everyone should be celebrating. You should all be happy. Why aren't you happy? And he's just like, he's very a bit nonchalant, really. He's like, yep, it is good that this has happened. But, you don't understand. You've just been here a few weeks, and you haven't experienced what I've experienced my whole life. And I think the theme is like, one war ends, another war starts. There's always someone here to carry on the oppression and everything else that's going on. So he's sort of like cautiously happy about the outcome of this. But there's something else going on. And he's something else going on. But he's confused. He doesn't understand why this guy isn't jumping for joy, Anyway, we jump back to now. And as I said, this team's been assembled and they are going into Lavaria because Victor Von Doom, of course, is up to no good. And they are being sent to extract some Americans of some kind from Lavaria. Now, he's with the Howling Commandos, and there's commandos are Slate and Chill, I think they're called, and we've got this double cap team up here. But you sense tensions between the two here. You really, really do. I mean, you feel like our Steve, he is really in the past. His morals and his ways of looking at the world are very, very different to this now quite jaded modern Captain America, and he doesn't kind of click with Cap very well. It doesn't kind of click. So one's sort of saying, let's go in here and liberate Latveria. And he's like, no, the mission is to do A, B, C, get these guys out. That's it. We're in, we're out. And Cap doesn't understand, he fought Hitler. He's like, well, let's get rid of the dictator. Then the problem's over. But like I say, old Colton here, the second Cap, who's a major. So he's also hierarchically higher up the ladder than our Cap America here. He's barking orders at Cap, and Cap's like, yeah, cool, whatever. Anyway, so they dive in with their trademark jumping from the airplanes like they normally do, and they land to meet the resistance. But before that happens, Doom appears. But it's okay, it's not Doom. It's one of his Doom bots. Now, they kind of tried to dispatch him, but before anything can happen, they are captured. And you're thinking, oh no, they've walked into some kind of trap, but it's not. It's the rebels that they've been sent to meet to help liberate these Americans that are being held captive. We jump back to the past again, and old Colton here, Cap 2, let's call him. He's going to see his friend that we mentioned earlier. His name's Quazim, and he doesn't understand why this guy's not happy. So he thought, I'm going to go pay him a visit and just kind of find out. But he finds some people there with AK-47s, and they're very eager to start shooting. And shooting does ensue. And he dispatches the one outside, and he races upstairs, dispatching even more. And he finds his friend, but his friend is bleeding out. He's dead, and it looks like one of his friends is also dead there. And he's saying, listen, the truth is this, is that, yes, we've liberated like the area from this great dictator, but that's just made room for the old warlord that was here, and now he's free to do what he wants. He's come back to stake his claim, and he's killed many people. I think he included one of his relatives, his sister, and he's come to take his pound of flesh out on this guy. So You know, it's like once you get rid of the Taliban, the warlords return, and this starts sort of twisting Colton Cap 2's mind a little bit about what he's doing, the effect it has, what's right, what's wrong. You know, the classic tale where they start questioning things. So I think his sort of psyche is breaking down a bit. And you kind of see that a bit more here. So they go back to these resistances, like a little hideout, and they're having a cup of tea. And he's saying, listen, let's go take Doom down. And Colton's like, no, we are here to get the American citizens and get them the hell out of here. We're not here to start a revolution. We can't be seen doing that. It would cause all these other sort of political repercussions across the world. No, it's not happening. But the thing is, what I find here is a bit jarring, is he goes from here saying, look, we're here to extract our citizens. He's like, well, come on, you know, why don't you just help us do this? And you can walk them across the border. It'll make your job easier, extract them. And he just loses his shit and throws it up against the wall. He's like, damn it, that wasn't the deal, Wolf. We're not your toy soldiers. And Cap's like, hey, step aside, Major. That just felt completely out of place. This sort of jump from being nice and calm conversation, someone floating an idea, to him absolutely losing it. So Cap takes him outside, and he's still angry at this guy. He's like, I'm going to make that smug beep talk, Rogers, I swear. And he's like, just stay calm. I've got another plan. Now, I don't understand this part. It might be me reading it wrong, but it was such a leap. It was just such a huge leap. And Cap says, look, our Cap, Steve Rogers, look, why don't you go get the citizens, right? The American citizens, right? And me, the resistance, we'll go take care of Doom. It's like a 2-for-1, right? And he's like, he reluctantly agrees to it. He doesn't like the plan, but he's like, okay. And we jump back to the past again, where we further see Colton sort of starting to understand, you know, the cost of war and the aftermath of war and what it means to an area and a people. And you can see that he's kind of losing it. And they're off to Iraq now. So something's kicked off in Iraq. And he realizes it's just one war after another war. Nothing's changed. Nothing changed. It's just a different battlefield. And again, I think this is way before I think our Cap joins the scene. So we're getting a bit of backstory, and these sort of painted differently panels really do take you back. I really like what they've done here. Okay, so the mission's about to start, and they both go their separate ways. And we follow the Doombot. We follow the Doombot, who's got this like safe house entry that they can go through to try and get back to Doom's castle and sort of ambush him. So their intelligence is that he will be having dinner at a certain time, and he's usually alone. So they're in there. And the resistance guy's about to take the shot. He's about to shoot Doom, end all the badness that Doom has done and will do. But Cap's like, no, this isn't right. We need to take these people and we need to demand justice. Because that's the thread that's being thrown through this issue. Is like Cap's realizing that, you know what, we didn't actually kill Hitler. You know, we won the war, but he himself was never brought to justice, and that's not right. You know, it should be about justice. So he says, no, we're going to take him in, and we're going to get justice for what he's done. Before that happens, of course, Doom has awakened, and he starts blasting the hell out of everybody. He incapacitates the resistance leader, and he knocks Cap down. And he says, Stephen Rogers, the original Captain America, scourge of Adolf Hitler, Victor von Doom and the nation of Lavaria welcome you as a hero. So that's where we end. So really interesting. We're learning more about this new Captain America. We're getting the usual, you know, man lost in time from Steve Rogers, trying to figure things out, trying to bring some morals back to this world that's just turned into basically war after war after war with jaded heroes, where the line between what's good and bad is blurred. So it's interesting. I'm not sure why Doom's happy to see him. Maybe he's going to try and twist him into some kind of pawn, his own game. But here we have it. So it was an interesting book. I read it a couple of times. The first time I read it, I was like, yeah, it's okay. But then I read it a bit more, and I'm really sort of I felt the themes that Chip Zdarsky was trying to push through. So all in all, a pretty good issue 2. It's turning out to be a solid arc. Very interested to know what's going on. I can see the new Cap sort of deteriorating and maybe becoming the villain. I can see our Cap rising to become the captain that we all love. So there we go. Those are my thoughts. Let me know if you're enjoying the book, and I'll talk to you in the comments. Before that happens, don't forget to like the video if you like the video. And if you can, hit that subscribe button. So take care, and we'll see you soon.